What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Toymakr3D Broadside final form. So this is a 3D printed version of Broadside. The print files are available on Toymakr3D. I'll put the link in the description, so if you're interested you can get those. I actually bought this from a guy on Etsy who was printing these, and unfortunately the link where I bought it from is no longer there, and also the account isn't there. I think because he ran into some issues with whether he owns this design or not. So I'm not sure if it'll come back or not. If it does, I'll post a link on my Facebook. But for now, if you're interested in getting this, you can use that link for the 3D files. Now this is printed at, a masterpiece scale, larger scale. You can print it at whatever size you want, really. But this one is printed pretty big. And first thing I want to do here is just show you the size. So this guy comes in at 22 inches, which is a nice size for an MP scale, especially if you're putting it next to some other Titans. And I was always looking for something like this. I don't really need it to transform, to be honest. I don't care about the carrier mode, and I don't care about the jet mode. We're never going to put in that just because it's never going to scale with anything. So I was happy to get a robot mode in this size. Now this guy is pretty much 100% 3D printed. There's no screws, there's no hardware. Everything is made out of the 3D printed plastic. It's a really cool design by Toymakr3D. Raza is the guy who designed it. And it uses these little plastic screws instead of, metal screws. So it does two things. One, it looks good because it matches the plastic color. But two, it doesn't require you to put metal screws into plastic. So that helps with longevity in addition to the look of it. I did an unboxing where I put it together. Since then, I've glued the wings in and I've glued this Autobot symbol on there. Now, the wings, I'm not sure if you should glue them on there. And I'll just show you what they look like. They look really good. And I initially thought these were painted, but they're actually not painted. This is actually embedded red and blue plastic inside of that white. So it's just very well done. I love how it's designed. It looks good, and it's really fully 3D printed. Same for this, these wings on the side, those are fully 3D printed, so you get the look. And I think overall it looks really nice. Let's go over his articulation, and I do want to bring him in closer so you can kind of see how it looks. The finish on it is really quite good for a 3D printed thing. Normally the lines are really prominent, and you can see on this one, it's not bad. It's pretty smooth, especially the red, but even the gray, it's pretty good overall. And I want to bring it in closer so you can kind of see. He must have a really good 3D printer because just the way it's done, it's very, very well done. Now, obviously it is, you can tell, but let's go over the articulation. The head is on a ball joint, and so here's what it looks like. So if you lift up on this, you can get it a little bit forward. You can get way back. He does get a little bit side to side if you lift it up, and it rotates around, of course. Nice looking head sculpt. It's got some blue for the eyes there. Of course, 3D printed, right? Autobot logo is glued on there. This is done in a blue plastic. It's not painted. Coming to the shoulders, you have a rotation here. That's on that same kind of screw hinge. So that will rotate around. It'll go out to the side up to here. One thing I do regret is I glued that wing in. But if you want to bring the arm out, you can see it bumps in if you want to bring it out this way. So you can bring it out to the side, but not back and to the side. We have a rotation here at the bicep, and it has stopping points. So it stops there and there. You have a 90-degree bend at the elbow. And by the way, all the joints are on that screw type of hardware. Really well done hands. Like they're, Fans Toys level hands. They do rotate They bend in and out on a hinge here. I'd imagine over time it will get loose if you keep messing with it, just because it is 3D printed, right? It's not, you know, hard plastic. Thumb is on a hinge here, and can also swing in and out. Each finger is on 2 hinges, so you can get it folded down. There is 2 slots here on the hand for the gun, which we'll show you in a little bit. But I really like how they did the hands here. They really work very well. Coming down to the waist, you have a waist rotation here. And again, it has a stopping point. So it stops right there and stops right there. It does break up the sculpt of the cockpit, but I think that's actually accurate to the character. So really nicely done there. Coming down to the waist, we have hip skirts on the front and on the side, not on the back. The legs are a little bit hindered, honestly. Like, they get caught up here. So you really can't get that far forward. I can get let's see, about to there and back to there. Out to the side, maybe up to there. So just due to the way it's designed, you don't get a whole lot out of that. I'm okay with it, though. I don't need him in huge dynamic poses, but just know that it is kind of limited. Rotation at the thigh, again, it has a stopping point. So it goes up to there and up to there. Coming down to the lower legs, we have a knee bend that gets you past 90 degrees. There's a recessed area here, so that's what allows it to go a little bit further. We have ankle tilts. I mean, it's on a ball joint, so you get side to side, you get forward and backward, you get rotation, and there's a toe tilt. So if you want to get a walking pose, you can. You just have to tighten up some of these joints, but you can get a walking pose out of it. As far as accessories, it comes with the one printable accessory, this gun, done in the same color plastic. It's got 2 little pegs here, like I showed you earlier, that'll go right into the hand. So just get the thumb out of the way, peg that in, and then close the fingers around. You do have to close the fingers, otherwise, it won't hold in place. But once you do that, it's really solid in there. Let me just get this straight. There we go. And I think that's a really good looking gun overall. And it's locked in there. It's not going anywhere. And for size comparison, there it is next to the Magic Square version of Optimus Prime. And he towers over him. Optimus comes up to about the knee, maybe a little bit taller. So he will fit in nicely with a Masterpiece scale if you print it at this 22-inch height. And for another size comparison, there it is next to the Fans Toys version of Superion and a couple of aerial bots. And I just had to show these together just because they appeared very often in the cartoon together. And this guy is actually taller than the Fans Toys Superion. And let's just get a quick measure. I believe it's 21 inches. Yeah, 21 inches. So this guy about another inch taller. And then he towers over the Aerobot. So this works. Now, in different frames, of course, he changed size. But I think for me, this works pretty well. So final recommendations on the Toymakr3D Broadside Final Form. I think this is pretty cool, especially for a 3D printed figure. I'm going to give this a 4 to 5. I'm going to recommend it. This is a cool design. I love that they used these 3D printed screws. Not only does it match the color, but it also prevents you from having to put metal into plastic, which of course will damage over time. And it's just a fun design. I like how the articulation all works. The only complaint I have is the shoulder hitting this rear wing. I showed you that during articulation. That's a little bummer. But other than that, I mean, it does what I want it to do. And of course, the quality of the print is going to depend on your printer and the plastic and the skill of the person that's doing it. So I can't say they're all going to look like this in terms of the the print lines, but I can say the design itself is really well done. Speaking of this guy, he actually sent me a link to his eBay store actually at the end of this review. So I didn't mention it earlier, but I will put the link to his eBay store in the description. The store is called Artic Painthing Studios. Anyways, he does other custom work, but I'm really into, what he's got going here with the 3D prints. For those of us who don't have a printer or don't have access to a printer, it's a really nice service to be able to provide this. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks to Artic Painthing Studios, and we'll see you next time.